How you guys doing? So my name is Lethabo Mokoena. This is amazing. This is actually dope. I got goosebumps when I actually saw the schedule, and to think that it's a whole day for entrepreneurs. In China, that's never been done. And yeah, actually, in the wise words of Rebecca Malope, "Shayeni izandla." Shayeni izandla. So my name is Lethabo Mokoena, and shout out to Yoko for actually bringing this together. My friend and I were talking about the production. We were like, yo, the production is insane. These guys actually spent money on this, you know? And for me, that's a sign that they actually believe in entrepreneurship, and they actually believe in us building the economy, building our businesses, and all of that. And my friend was saying to me, bro, you don't like doing talks anymore. And I don't like doing talks because people want to ask you the same questions. How did you start? Our media's really fixated on the from zero to hero story. You know, they really want that. He live in a shack. But I feel like we've had those stories. Now it's about how do we industrialize, how do we build franchises, how do we do this and that, you know. So I was just like, man, these interviews, I'll see them when I have the time. But he asked me, why Yoko? I was like, dude, I've been using Yoko since 2015, since the inception of my business. And mainly because I was like, this is tailored for me. And a lot of the time, people see my tweets on Twitter. I say something about Yoko, and they're like, when we bring them back, like, they're giving you something. But for me, it's really genuine feedback that I have for the brand and for the actual speed points. And all of my friends that have businesses are always like, Ntwana, Yoko yafuneka boy. We're not gonna be the a swipey. No, like it's not gonna work. So that's why I'm here. And when I saw the lineup, maps, dog. You know, like, this is just a cave, you know? And my credentials, I don't have credentials. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a sneaker cleaning company, which I'm about to go into. And when I was doing my presentation, I was like, I'm gonna write my awards, entrepreneur, what. And I was just like, then what? Like, is that fighting Corona or what, you know? So for me, it's really about being happy to be here more than anything, because now I really feel like I'm part of this movement of entrepreneurship that's happening in South Africa, where everyone is just saying, I don't care about anyone else, we're just doing this thing, and we're just feeding off each other's energy. So I'm really happy to be here. Shout out to Yoko for inviting me. And yeah, so obviously, most Yoko, ne designer kuifagi present, and a shicey, I'm presentation and no man figure you know. So this is definitely my Yoko presentation. And my topic, as we have seen in the guidelines, it's innovation in an African context, you know. And over the years, I've heard people talk about innovation, tech, the innovation. It became a sudden buzzword, you know. And when I sat down, I said, what does that mean in Africa? You know, because it's easy. At some point, I thought innovation was technology. Then when I did research, I was like, okay, no. Yeah, so my topic is really centered around what does innovation mean to us as Africans? Because we have this thing as South Africans that we think we're not in Africa. When someone goes to Kenya, you're like, oh, we're Africa. And you're just like, oh, where do you live, you know? So that's my topic. And as you can see, we're talking about innovation. We're talking about all these great concepts. We're talking about technology. But some of us, when we were driving here, this is the background that we drove past. In this big innovation world country, this is what we drove past, you know. So for me, even when I was doing the video with Matt, he said, do a 30-second video. And I said, for me, the talk is really about how do we then bring innovation back home? How do we then make sure that it comes back to us and it solves our problems? Because whether you want to admit it or not, we do have problems, hectic and serious problems. But sometimes we don't get to deal with those problems because we're in our fancy cars. But then we still have these grassroots problems that we haven't dealt with. We're still struggling with industrializing, which was the third revolution. God that says 4IR, the book on 4IR by Banban Mtetwa. And that's cool. But then have we really dealt with the fundamental issues that we have? What does 4IR mean to Ukoko Tengsa Matamati? What does that mean to her? You know? So that's just where my thought process is at. And for me, what I want you to understand, anything I'm saying is not in stone. These are my thoughts, and I really want to share them with you. And I'm not a motivational speaker. I've always struggled with that. Because every time I spoke, people don't clap. People are just like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, maybe people are not clapping, you know. But then I've accepted that that's not my job. My job is to actually speak my mind and say, guys, this is currently what's happening. So, who am I? Lethabo Mokoena, originally from Davidson, Israel. Any Eastern people here? So I'm from the Eastern Davidson. So Davidson is the last township before Mpumalanga. So when you say to people, we're Davidson, they're like, yo, it's so far. We're not inviting you. So my background, I went to Mabuya, studied high school in the township, went to Boston. I studied public relations for a year because I couldn't find space at UJ. How many of us have been through that? See you. Then I studied corporate communication at UJ. I majored in strategic branding, which is like advertising or whatever. Then I did some interns at some agencies. Then in 2015, I started my business. So my background is in advertising and marketing. But as we all know, school doesn't teach you enough to survive on the ground. School can only give you the basics. But for me, the most fulfilling thing is being able to learn that at school and come back to my people, like us. You know, and how I started Walk Fresh, I've told this story 1,000 times, but I want to tell now because it's going to give context. So I started Walk Fresh. I was working at this other cell phone mobile brand, and I was a junior brand manager / activator. And I went back home, and my problem was that every time I came back from work, my childhood friends were chilling in my shop every day. And when you're in varsity, you forget about things like that, you know, because now you're in Bram, game, and say, at that time I was with my kids' pajamas and all of that, you know. But when I came back home, I realized, yo, dude, like I have so many dreams for my life, so many aspirations, but the people that I grew up with, they just literally, ilanga, two. And I was like, what? You know, and what I realized also in the township, and you will agree with me or disagree, when you come back from school, we star. You move from Lethabo to Lethabo. Even the latest graduates, they start talking Mokoena now, the perpendicular, what, you know. You become sort of part of a clique where everyone else has to clean our cars. And everyone else must send their kids to us for advice. You're still fighting for a promotion in Spain, again, but their kids must come to you for advice, you know. So I saw a problem with that. I was like, no, guys, hey, there's a problem here, you know, because these are human beings with so much potential, just like I do. And one day I come back from work, and now I'm getting a job offer to move to Cape Town, whatever. But I say to my boss, dude, I don't think this is it for me, eh? Because if I move to Cape Town, then what am I going to be doing for Ikaslam? One day I come back from work, outside I'm cleaning his mom's sneakers, and I said to him, boy, why don't you get paid for that, yabo? Everyone laughs. And I think right then, because I was expecting something to happen in my life, I saw the business idea. Following day, I used my petrol money, bought material. Then 5 years later, I ran a business called Walk Fresh. So that's who I am. And I don't even like saying Intwana Sekas because people want to use that as some form of badge. Intwana Sekas is there. How many of us are Intwana Sekas? And when people ask me, so how did you grow up? I'm like, just like any other township kid. Single parent, walked to school, didn't have money for varsity. It's such a standard story that we've glorified it and made it okay. Just like every year in Jan, Lomtana Law used to travel 5K to school, but they still got 3 distinction. That's wrong. He shouldn't supposed to be traveling 5Ks. How are you normalizing that, you know? So I don't think I'm special. I just think I execute things differently. So I'm gonna play you a video of, so I'm a visionary. My biggest case in my life is that I'm a visionary. I see things before they happen. Sabotage, where's the alarm? I see things before they happen. And when I was building Walk Fresh at that time, I almost could see how things would unfold, you know. And I hope these videos will give you also an insight of where I was. I'm not sure if you can see them, guys. Okay, these ones are ready. Then these are the kicks that are almost ready. We got ladies' shoes. We got boots. We got all kinds of shoes. So the video is very long, so we had to cut it. But what I'm showing, this is where I started my company. Tabang is my childhood friend. We used to work in Tabang's backyard. Like I said to you, when I started the business, I bought Amavascomo, scrubs, Saga. We're still using it even now, you know. But this is how I started the business, and this is where it started. So we clean shoes, we do all of that. So what we do, sneaker cleaning. As long as we clean it. We spent the last 4 years in business understanding how to clean sneakers. That's why we actually spend more of our time cleaning other companies' sneakers because they ruin them, whatever. Suede cleaning, that's our key seller because obviously we all like suede, but you don't know what to do with it, right? So we do sales maintenance, we refurbish suede, we do all of that. We do shoe shining and polishing, and which was very, for us in starting the business, was very easy. We all grow up doing that and all of that. Then we do level refurbishing, from blue to black, brown to whatever. We do shoe repairs. Ladies, I know, akekho usise ngeke ngahlangana naye athi une high heel engamoshekanga ama tips. Yabo bayanotha? Yes. And we do pickups and deliveries. You know, so when I was starting the business, I realized that in as much as my business is in the township, the other market is outside the township. You know, and the misconception is that agnamali lokshin. And I always say, why is Burger King in Soweto if agnamali lokshin? Why is every township with debonaires right now? So all the brands are coming in, we are moving out because we're seeking validation from outside the township. And all the brands can see, go to you, abantu abangaga. We want them. So I knew that my business has to be based in the township, but I'm not naive to the fact that there's also people in Centurion who have households and families that they won't give me one pay, they'll give me the whole family's pay. So that's where our pickup and delivery happens. But we also partner up with laundromats. So I said to my team, guys, we can't afford to open a shop in Rosebank, wherever. So we're a startup, I don't even have capital for this. But because I'm a creative, how about we approach laundromats and say, look, you have foot traffic, you have a store. If I use your shop as a drop-off point, people just come, drop off their shoes. I come pick them up on certain days, clean them, bring them back. You charge me end of the month out of the money I made. If I didn't make money, I don't pay you. But if I made money, you're getting free money. I win the next one, you know. So we have drop-off points in Braamfontein, Rosebank, So just go on our website and you see all this information, you know. And from that video to this 5 years later. So this is our flagship store. The first one, the one in Davidson, like I said in Davidson, the first one, the one in Davidson, that's the flagship store. And why I use shipping containers, because I'm not naive to the fact that we are evolving as businesses. Business is evolving, and brick and mortar, especially with the internet age, brick and mortar, because we know, like, rental will show you flames, bro, you know. But hey, if you're opening a shop in Mabone, we'll come support, you know. I don't want to kill your dreams. Then that's our shop in Sandton. So how the Sandton store happened is that Sports Scene approached us last of last year, December. So these guys saw what we were doing, and they were like, what? And how we had packaged the thing. I was fortunate enough that I studied branding and all of that. So how we managed to package the brand and how we managed to communicate the story, that Sports Scene reached out to us and they said, look guys, really like what you're doing. How do you feel about opening a Workfresh shop inside Sports Scene? You know, so this shop is actually inside Sports Scene Sandton City, which is Sports Scene's biggest store in Africa. So, and we run it independently. Too. Because when we sat down, I was like, yo, you're not touching anything that has to do with my company. I understand this is a value add for you. You know, I'm not a boy that you're putting on. No, it's just a time game. If I hang on long enough, I can open a shop in Sandton. But you can speed that up for me. Give me a space, you know. So it's a win-win. So when you buy a cake, we give you a voucher. Because how many of us have wanted to buy shoes, but you were like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the shoe. Hey, let me leave it. So we just come in there, and this is our shop in Soweto. I love this shop because it's very nice, it's very technical. So we have 3 shops, Workfresh, Soweto, Davidson, And like I said, we do pickups and deliveries, we do walk-ins and all of that. And you must understand, we've built this. I've always said to people, we're building an industry from the township. I'm not building a business, I'm building an industry. We just launched our own sneaker healing products, a product range, we have 4 products. But with these products, we're selling them to other sneaker healing companies. Because I'm saying, if I sell to you, then the kid who's cleaning sneakers at Kaslako, you're just going to be, but that's actual income for him. And that's an actual entrepreneur who's trying to develop this thing that we bonile somewhere na yangayenza la income. Then actually when I was starting Work Fresh, I see a lot of my friends here, they'll tag me, hey Joe, kunezinye la with bank, zwashamategi nazo. Oh Joe, kunezinye la itembis. And I actually go to those guys. And I say, boy, I know this is what's giving you problems. I'm not asking you, this is how you do it. Because I feel like there's so much shoes for all of us as sneaker cleaning companies. No matter being food, I won't clean all of them. So how do we then build this industry that people don't really think it's an industry that's actually creating jobs? Because sneaker cleaning is labor intensive. That's actually creating jobs. So I would actually go there, visit them, and I'm like, dog, there's nothing you can hide from him, dog. Like, relax, and we've built that relationship. That's why even with our product, we're able to sell it to them, and we're just building our own small industry. And now corporate is catching on. I was in a meeting with this other big brand, they want to collabo, whatever. So that's what we do. That's what I do for a living. I wake up every morning, I quit my job for this thing in 2015. And my grandmother was like, "One shaza. Go kerekeng ko reng. No faila ko skolong. Ba lo mo feditse tlo sa ntshotse." So I had to deal with that. But today, she's like beaming with pride to be like, yeah, So this is a video that we shot 2 months after I started Work Fresh. So now this video, I'm going to elaborate why I'm showing you this video. It shows you the most important thing in business is why you do it. Your why will sustain you. I only got my salary from Work Fresh 2018 when I started 2015. 3.2 nyana nje, just to go to airtime. DM abantu nami, but my why is, everyone who knows me knows that I'm passionate about the township, I'm passionate about township entrepreneurs, and just passionate about black people, unapologetically. Angile nale mchana, inja yami, enyabona yo last 20, anyayikaya lenya support, So this video I shot 2 months after I started Work Fresh. Just check it out. Beng salambile la. My name is Lethabo from Mokoena. I'm the founder and CEO of Work Fresh, the best sneaker cleaning company in Davidson. The whole idea of the outfit is to show people how serious we are. If I'm wearing a 3-piece suit, delivering your shoes, come on, dog, that's swag. The more people see the bike, the more the brand is out there, because they know us. We're building a brand, man. We're building a corporate company. We're building a franchise. We have a culture with this shop. It's part of our identity, because normally wake up in the morning, breakfast, and you come to like that, like the entire day. That's actually what provoked the idea of Work Fresh, because when I came back from varsity, I remember I came back to the shops and chill. So this one day, then his mom's sneakers. And at that point, let's do this in Batubakha, because I think people would actually pay us, I think there was like 12 of us. Everyone was like, no ways. Like, why would people buy for Saturday day,
The community has only responded here about okay, so we're not going to till now, it was registered. How registered? Okay, says number fly. No, this thing was serious. You can't phone up a land the lama taking thing, about drop offending. We want to tell Sabakala trust. I go into Eza is. And Indians me right now, Conuk 7 San Malia Conuk. That's it. We acting.
Same day I saw us wearing the uniform, Then following day, I remember Kafita Kuntung, I told my mom, I was like, say, my old lady, I have this idea, Joe. I want to do this. And I was like, okay, Joe, showcase, like, go ahead. And there was 2 guys that were keen. I said to you guys, okay, gents, me, I put in my own money. I had 700. Following day, I gave away a shop. If you take my packet, because I felt like if this is our main road, if people were driving past here and getting big and they saw sneakers there, they'd want to come and bring their sneakers. We used to hang them up there so that people could actually see them. Then that's where Work Fresh came about, man.
Tata mapagete sabeke shop satya wash. How? You check out surrounding yakut. Oh man, it's everything at dieting and about better off wash amate. Better off no, you think why sell. Sakwenzela fast. get something in return, you are happy in return. Then we go right.
We've been operating for 5 months and we have an average of 200 kicks a month.
Bengisebenza like a store, boxer, compete. As I was trying to watch
When we set up, we just make sure that everything is just like outside so that people see it, because I feel like aesthetic appeal is very important. If you have a pink shoe and you see a pink spray there, then you're like, okay, cool, actually I can bring my sneakers there or my shoe there, you know?
Yeah, this is spray. What is our spray?
It's a habit. So right now, the people that are working, I have 4.5 guys because I have one guy who works on weekends.
Njengoba siyenza ukuwayinda emashophu kwi-weekend sibloma sibhema asiphuza amajwala yabo, so uthi bo sayitshintsha leyo lifestyle ukuthi mageng ngicela sisukeni emashophu asenzeni something during weekends, because most of you guys you don't work on weekends. So this is my part-time job. Sometimes kunongena icathulo eningi boma-30 per day singa-expectanga. Wow, kumele siziphushe. That's what we do best. Sebenza.
So when you drop off your kicks, it's a whole process that happens. We have Google Sheets. So I came up with these sheets because I realized that as we grew, we had a lot of shoes in. So when you bring in your shoes, you fill in the sheet. So it has options to say, okay, what's the description of the footwear, the size, and we give you options of what you want us to do to the shoes. Do you want us to clean it, to polish it, to repair it, or to refurbish it? So then you tick. Then you also have to write the due date. Then there at the bottom of the sheets is your signature, then the quote. Then you signing is you agreeing to, okay, cool, I'm gonna pay. Paperwork is so important in a business. It's actually the engine of the business because we have to look back at what we've been doing. People like numbers, especially business people. People want to know how many shoes have you done? What's your normal average you do a week and stuff like that. Only the paperwork can give us that data. The COO, Tabang, handles it in terms of capturing the data.
The COO fresh check my operations, daily operations work fresh with the check ama-Google, ama-spreadsheet esiwasebenzisayo eziphi incathulo ezingena nini zifuneka nini. Eza namhlanje ngiyazi ukuthi zenziwe right customer mayingene ngamnikeza turnaround time ethu 3 days. Makuyi-express siyeka lezi ezinye senza yona express uyithola same day.
One of the mistakes I remember we did, there's this one lady, she put in her boots. So she had cream white boots, she wanted them to be grey. Because it was still the early stages, I was excited to do the job. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, we're gonna do that. Then when we came here, we did the grey, but it wasn't the grey she wanted. At the end of the day, we had a shoe for 2 months. So one time she calls us at night and she's like, okay, cool, I'm at the police station now. I'm opening a case against Work Fresh because I really need my shoes. What I was supposed to do was actually explain to the clients the process. Say, okay, listen, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna shop for the dye. And if I can't find it, I can help you.
Akhona ama-customers usifuna in an hour's time. Incathulo kumele zingene emanzini. Uyamtshela ukuthi no, nge-hour angeke kube possible. Athi ngiyasifuna. Uzoyenza iplan in an hour's time ngiyabuya. Nakubuyile in an hour's time izimanzi ziselangeni.
I was shocked when they offered to fetch my sneakers and bring them back. It's shocking for a kasi business. Packaging, so there's also invoicing, not just an invoicing, a branded invoice. This is a top quality service, whereas erase my standards, so there is hope in Work Fresh.
If I start Work Fresh and 10 more people are employed by Work Fresh and 10 more people create employment because they work for Work Fresh, then yeah, cool.
Aim high, hard work, dedication, discipline. Uzoba right life.
Because we're competing amongst ourselves. It's always about who has the best gene, who has the best chick. You know, it's never about, okay, what can we do? You know, so I have a complex with that. I see something wrong with that. You know, Moka's alcohol. That's literally all we know. It's never about what can we do. Their case was alcohol. Our case is Nyaupe. Something else after Nyaupe is gonna come. Because it's a cycle. We're not doing anything. We have free time. We have idle minds. Our minds are not doing anything. But then if we as Work Fresh, we come through and say, okay, gents, here's what's happening. We're gonna employ you, we're gonna pay you this salary, but out of your salary, we're gonna take a certain percentage and put it away for you until you come with your business idea. With what I'm trying to do with Walk Fresh, it's more like an escape more than anything. How do we escape that reality of saying, let me get drugged? If we can get from there to having a branch in Jersey, come on, dog.
So now le branch yaseJozi bengikhuluma ngayo sekhona. So that video was taken 4 years ago, and this is where the brand is 5 years later, 4 years later. And it's just, every time I look at it, I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is how far we've come, you know? And seeing all these guys say, "Banonile manje, abokamu sebashaya esinye isilungu," you know, we've really grown, all of us, you know. But more importantly, we stuck to the dream, you know, like we held on to it. And today we still, this video was taken 5 months after we started, and from there on, day one, I said, I'm building a franchise, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, that's that. And now, I'm just gonna show you how this is tying up, and I feel slightly under pressure for time, but bazo relax, Lethabo, Joe. This is like black stories, boy. So for me, going back to what I was saying about innovation, once I say innovation to you, thinking app, yok patali parking, pizza ezange drone. You know, we're always thinking of these fancy things, but when I say to you transformation, you're thinking about the township. Do you know what I'm saying? City revitalization, then you're thinking, oh, it looks shit, you know? And that's I find that weird, you know? So for me, innovation really has to be used as a problem-solving tool. Like I said to you, we do have problems. We do have problems. We have dire problems. We have real problems, you know? So then I think innovation is one of the coolest tools to use to solve those problems. I'm very rebellion. Like every brand that works with me, they know it's this guy mustn't say something that attacks us, you know. But for me, I'm just like that because I feel like we don't have time to be okay. We don't have time to tiptoe around things and make certain people feel good. We're in the worst situation our country has ever been, and the people that are struggling, the people that are taking that a lot, are the people there. But because we now have this nice English, the flang shui, I'm finessing them, we think that's not happening. You know, we've almost like blocked it out, you know. So for me, I really feel like innovation has to be used as a tool. And as I was doing my research, and this guy, this is what he defined innovation as. And remember, I'm an entrepreneur, so everything for me has to make numbers, has to make money sense. I'm not a social entrepreneur. I'll come there and make them feel good. Where's my health, boy? Like, literally, and that's how it's supposed to be. But because we are so scared of saying what our value is and projecting it to people and say, dude, this is what I'm worth, you know? So for me, everything else has to tie down to invoices. Anyone who had me on Facebook will know my hobby is invoicing. Like, that's my one hobby, like sending invoices, you know? So the implementation of creative ideas in order to generate value, usually through increased revenues, reduced costs, or both. For me, innovation is about how do I start Walk Fresh in 700 and make 700,000 in our 2017 financial year. Literally, that's what innovation for me is, you know. I don't think innovation is, I'm a tech company, I need 50,000 from Silicon Valley. Where do you think you are? This is not, that's got states anymore. None of us will tell you. So we really have to come back home and say, what does this mean for us? Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, this is what innovation is. If I can get this crazy idea at minimum cost and maximum revenue, then I can be able to move, so on and so forth. And for me, I'm really fixated on solutions-oriented innovation. I always look at all these innovation summits, and I'm very petty, Mina. Like, I look at them and I'm like, these guys are really brushing each other's egos. I haven't been caught off guard by an innovation. Solve my primer stove. Every year, they burn in their shacks every year because of primer stoves. No one is trying to innovate that. Instead, when you walk into Santon, this will direct you and make you avoid traffic. And I'm like, this thing, if we go to my first slide, sorry for this, sing my emotional. I'm like, innovation is completely useless if it serves right people. and rich people. I'm not scared to say that. If it serves rich people and it solves their inconveniences, then it's useless to us. Because the problems rich people have is not the problems that we have. Instead, they make money from our problems. So then how are we not innovating to solve our problems? How is this innovation not solving our problems? Slinking a manj. But no, it doesn't affect you, no. Until your nephew struggles with it. Then you want us to donate and this cost, and because now your nephew is affected. Yeah, rehabilitation costs. No, dude, you know? So for me, innovation really has to be about how do we then use it to solve our problems and our most practical problems. Not just problems that make us fit in with the rest of the world. To say, nah, South Africa, no, but go for IR. Let's send them the drones now. They must get drone license. I want a driving license. And I'm not saying we shouldn't move with the world. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying we really have to be realistic in our moving. You know, we really have to be realistic in our moving. So for me, I've looked at a couple of case studies because you must sound like an informed academic. Because the audience there are people that know stuff. So and your information must be backed up, you know. So like I am an academic, I have whatever. And I did research and I had fun doing this research. And I bumped into these guys from Canada. They have what is called a meal exchange. It's like a couple of varsity students. In Canada, they give you meal vouchers to go to the food courts, And a lot of kids don't use those vouchers. So this one kid was like, actually, let's partner up with grocery stores. And these vouchers, we can give them to homeless people, and they go to grocery stores to buy groceries with them. And I was like, that touched me some because I was like, that's solving the problem. You know, Arsenal linking as a lot in the world where a church is empty at night, but there's homeless people all over the streets. Let's not go there. So the meal exchange for me was like an innovation that was like, this is practical, you know, this is practical. And this Fabio Rosa, this Madala, is from Brazil. And basically what he does, he makes sure that people in the rural areas have access to electricity at 90% off because it's renewable energy. And I was like, like this person is working, you know, he's solving problems. And this is my favorite, Lomatala Lona, he's also a professor, he's from India. He's a scientist. What he did, they created a seed, a wheat, that yields more wheat and saved India from famine in 40 years. In 40 years, and now India is one of the leading exporters of food because of his innovation. So when I look at innovations like that, I'm like, yo, this is real, you know, like this is stuff that I consider innovation, you know. And obviously, when you put in place innovations like this, people will get jobs from them. Because the wheat has to be planted, there has to be distribution, there has to be companies that take it out of the country, so on and so forth. But not the innovation that stays on our phone and office in SNT. You do sales, I do PR, I do coding, I do accounting. Then we make 90,000 million. Then we go back home. Cool, I love that. But then my question will always be, how does that come back home to us in Africa? How does that solve our problems? The West is surprised because see, asna corona. They're surprised. And they're solving that side. We always want to solve problems that are not relatable to us. That's why I said what's important is context. I always say to these other kids that clean sneakers, don't act as if you're cleaning sneakers in America. La bangana mvula, bangana dust, bangana taga. Don't do that thing. Fari katsulo emanzini. No, bro, the material, don't need also about technical. Like, clean these things. Like, we want to see it clean, bro. You know? We can be technical about it, but we have to be practical and say, dude, I'm using this because it's the longevity. Okay, I'm passionate about sneaker cleaning, I'm sorry. But this is what the Matala does. And when I did the slides, I had the stats. Inequality, the most unequal country in the world, fact. Femicide, every woman is killed every 3 hours in 2018. And these are facts. But then I was like, these guys already know this. These are not news. I'm just being smart. Like, the fact is that we all know the stats. But then what are we actively doing about it? As entrepreneurs, we're one of the powerful peoples in society because we're able to shift society and shift it with our businesses. You know, how are we then speaking to these problems? How are our innovations speaking to these problems that are affecting our lives? Whether directly or indirectly. If crime doesn't affect you because you live in a gated community, guess what's going to happen when you go to a supermarket and you come back, your car is broken into? Directly or indirectly, it's going to affect you. So then how are we as entrepreneurs building businesses that are solving these problems? And one day from Luxury Culture said to me, dude, for you to live with the elite, you must serve the masses. If you want to live with the elite, serve the masses. The reason why Luxury Culture was so big was because it was supported by black people. So this day, Luxury Culture in 2001 made 80 million in revenue on social media because they were serving the masses. But Tina, we don't, we want to go to Sandra. Whatever, bro. Like, for me, it's about how do we then solve these problems and be real with ourselves. And be real, say, okay, I want to make money. I'm an entrepreneur. But then how do I create a business? I'm a tiles. I started a business before I did Workfresh because my mother lives at Barcelona. It's like an informal settlement before they built RDPs. And and I was like, this is such an easy problem. We don't even have to renew the Amazon. And I was like, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell. And I sold those things for $50 a pop. I was always sold out because I was solving a problem that was there immediately. And I wasn't like market research, cost acquisition. You guys are playing. All those things are good. I started Workfresh before doing research. And I did research as I was going. But then once you still stop, you come to Yoke Exchange. Everyone who's in business right now, even the guys in technical, will say, start, we'll talk after you start. So you start and we figure it out as we go. There's no time. Like Silicon Valley, where there's a workshop on execution. Nah, bro. It's real. It's South Africa. Let's execute and you call us, Lethabo. I'm fine about saying Facebook ads, that's Amazon. Then we're moving. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, these are the key problems. That's why I took out the stats. I was like, these guys know these. If Bazazi, Banamanga, lying, we all read these articles on our phones. Yo, women are dying every day. Okay, what are you doing about it? Instead, we're going to build these apps for Labo Mama Base, Century Naba Kichimayo. And our daughters, literally every day, are being kidnapped. SOS to a deep slow, but anyway, I'm just saying, guys, all I'm saying actually is, let's be practical in our innovation. Let's make money from the innovation, but let's solve problems. These are the key problems. These are the key problems we have. Many other, but I feel like these ones, if these ones are solved, then we will be nice. And for me, this is how I see innovation in South Africa. This is so weird. I was with my friend, we had some tour where they talk about trends and all of that, and it showed us this. It's in Sandton City. And we're like, yo, so how this works is that when you have recycled things, you put it in there, it gives you vouchers to go shopping. Isn't that brilliant? But do you get that in Ekasi, we have this? Imagine if this was Ekasi. People would be starving. People wouldn't be starving because, I'm plastic. Gets a meal for the day. But because it's designed for rich people, mustn't be dirty where they are. So they must put this and must get a voucher. So then, which context is that speaking to? What's the context there? It's innovation. I love it. When we saw it, I was like, yo, this is dope. But then I was like, Igu Pilant, where is this thing placed? Which context are we talking to? You know? And we have these things. It's a social media trend. At some point, I was like, no, man, let degree I need to have a PA in what. Maybe I'm story Spaniana. This has become normal, this. It's almost like Sisak motivator on Twitter to be like, no, go on this intersection. The engineers always drive past it. This means there's no jobs in South Africa. Fact. Fight me if you want to. Fact, we don't have jobs in South Africa. But we want to innovate. When you walk into McDonald's, there's this machine that doesn't even want you to interact with a human being. Because we're innovative. The rest of the world is doing it. We're not the rest of the world. We're struggling, guys. We're genuinely struggling. Like, it's so real. It's so real. And for us who live in the township, my childhood friends, 3 years ago, I say one of my childhood friends on my way to work, he had tires covered with his body in petrol. And they were trying to light him alive because he stole a battery to get it fixed. And I was like, guys, are we really doing this as a community? Is this what our lives are worth? But, Ntwana, need a job, McDonald's, no, we just want to, I don't want to put my car in, I just want to tap it. Get into your car is broken into by this guy. Because we don't want to speak to innovation in our context. We don't want to say, how is this solving our problems? And we sit down, we have brainstorming sessions and say, okay, guys, how do we want to solve the problems of the car parking guys? I was at the GNB Hive and one guy said, no, dude, my business idea is to create a wallet, a digital wallet for these car park guys. I was like, oh, I love that. Because sometimes you want to give them money, but you don't have coins. But then if there was a way, I'm 50. For me, I was like, I don't know what I'll do. I'm not a tech guy, but wherever I can, if I must call Mashudu from Yoko to give you, I don't know, a speed point or whatever, I'll do that. Because for me, that's innovation that makes sense, you know? So this is how innovation looks in South Africa. In Africa, more than anything. I always see the innovators in other African countries, and the innovation is amazing. The technology is amazing. I was listening I was watching a YouTube talk by Marcelo. Marcelo is one of the Yoko guys, and he was talking about how Africa is such a developing country and there's so much opportunities in them. And I really resonated with them, but I was like, we are not going to be the people who benefit from those opportunities. Because our innovation, our idea of innovation is different. Our idea, and I feel like we need to restructure that. We need to be honest with ourselves and restructure that. Entrepreneur, government doesn't know what to do with us as entrepreneurs. That's why we're here right now. That's why Sila Guyoko, you know? The big guy is here, Singa Kichima. This guy, Zico Stoves, this guy is a guy from KZN. What this guy does, he has a company that builds stoves. But this company, the stoves are being built by Nyaupe surviving addicts. So when you come back from rehabilitation, he pulls you in, he teaches you how to build a stove, he sends you out to sell the stoves, and you make revenue, you pay him a certain portion. I was like, this is brilliant. That's innovation, but it's solving a problem we currently have, the problem that's here. That's easy to look away from, but it's still here. You know, so for me, I was like, that's amazing. Then, as I was scrolling through my Facebook, I bumped into this entrepreneur. He's selling and they took his stuff. They EMP'd. I was like, our innovation doesn't matter. Who would have thought that you could go to an intersection and sell sausages and make 20,000 a month? That's innovative for me. That was just like, but then because our government doesn't know what to do with that, to them innovation is that. They took away his stock, he had to pay 6,000 to get it back. But because as entrepreneurs, we're rebellious. Like, that's my attitude. If you're dealing with me and I'm in a meeting with you in corporate, taking chances. I don't leave without getting the job. That's our attitude as entrepreneurs. Now it's everyone is doing it now. Entrepreneurs are trading anywhere. And I was just like every intersection, I'm gonna try to get a brand for us to build nice stalls for these guys so that they can continue selling. Until these guys change the bylaws. Because the bylaws are not serving us, you know? So for me, innovation is really about, and this is in closing, innovation is really about how do we then bring it back home and create jobs and solve problems and make money. Let's stop this thing and go see, whatever you have. When you owe me, I don't say, when are you going to pay me that thing? I say, when are you going to pay me my 76 rand? Let's not call my money a thing. Let's not call it Solombani. It's my, no, it's my money. So we need to also re-engineer our thinking to say, how do we, our relationship with money, do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm here to say. I love innovation. Whatever is happening, I see on my headsets, look, we evolve as human beings. I love that. I'm all for that. I support that. But let's bring it back home. Let's bring it back home and say, this is what it means. And because Mina, I don't like complaining, I just do things how I started an incubator called the Black Business Lab. So what I do here, the little notice that I have, I call entrepreneurs basekasi, okay, this is how you can sell them. Na yoko, mawuthengisa amazambane wakho ufike ngoyoko, your fancy nyana, I put systems in place. As you see, when I started WorkFresh, I already had systems. We're capturing people's information. We're capturing the receipts. I do that for other people. And I'm saying to them, I don't want money from you. It's fine. But I know that you're going to create jobs. Therefore, no one is going to break into my car. Then it serves me. It comes back and serves me. So that's what the Black Business Lab is about. How do we then take these entrepreneurs? There's this boy we're actually incubating. He has a car wash that comes to you. Ikamalayo, Sizaguwe Mobile Car Wash. I was like, yo, I love this. They come to it's innovative, but it serves a purpose. It supplies a service, and there's a gap. You saw the gap, you got in there. Because ladies are not comfortable at car washes. So this guy was like, actually, I'll go to the ladies. That's innovation to me. So yeah, guys, I can go on online. Thank you so much. Lethabo, Mokoena.